My name's Don Smith. I'm with SSI Consulting. I'm here today with John Cameron, and we're going to be talking about the Nova Scotia WCB surcharge list. John's our occupational health and safety consultant, and he's been quite passionate about health and safety for decades. So, John, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and who you are?
Yeah, thank you, Don. And you're right. This has been my passion for years. I was occupation safety manager in a large major organization in this province, and just frustrated to some degree, I guess, with our minimal progress in preventing injury and illness. And one of the focus which highlights that is certainly is the surcharge list, and that comes out every year. In 2022, then there's 126 companies on that surcharge list. Now, what that surcharge list means, Don, and I'll read it right off the document here. It says, some employers are consistently high cost relative to their peers, resulting in poor experience rating, resulting over multiple years. The surcharge program targets these employers, focusing on those whose cost expenditure is at least 200% higher than their rate group over at least 4 consecutive experience rating statements. You're spending money you shouldn't be spending. All employers potential facing a surcharge are warned 2 years in advance. So you know the surcharge is coming. So what are we going to do about it? Right? So again, 200% higher. Now what that means, Don, is WCB is paying out 200% more than for workers injured on your job, more than people in your rate group and your competition. That's an incredible loss.
Why is it so significant for businesses? Why do they need to pay attention to this?
Basically, that money is coming right off the bottom line. It affects their profitability. That's money being spent that they don't have to spend. Now, the key to that is how to reduce the accident and illness of in the workplace. And we can certainly do that. And to do that, we're not talking about more rules, more regulations, more systems, more procedures, or higher fines. What we're talking about, Don, is changing the mindset from the boardroom right out through the organization on the shop floor. One of the things we have to do is go beyond compliance. So what I talk about is changing the mindset. And what I call it is changing the paradigm, changing our paradigm with respect to occupational health and safety. So I've got a list of things that paradigm shifts that we'd like to help organizations make. And number one, change from compliance to prevention. Go beyond compliance to focus on prevention. From government regulation and corporate and personal responsibility. From reactive to proactive. And that's a big one. The challenge we have in occupational health and safety had for years, nobody pays too much attention till after the disaster. We got to change from accident investigation to near-miss investigation. Once you've had the accident, it's too late. And any of the investigations I've done, in many cases, there's been all kinds of near misses before that accident happened. And in fact, it used to irritate me to no end to go out to investigate an accident and have people line up and tell me, that almost happened to me hundreds of times. Why didn't you tell somebody? We could have saved this person from an injury. We have to move from failure orientated to achievement orientated, from blame fixing to education. The challenge we have is once the accidents happen, there's nothing we can do about it. Only positive thing come out of that is what can we learn? The focus we have in many cases, and the focus our regulating bodies have on, is who can we blame rather than what can we learn. We have to move from policing to education. Safety is like quality. You can't police it out, you've got to build it in. And we have to move from top-down control to employee involvement. We have to move from quick fix to continuous improvement. And we have to move from safety as number one to safety with the same priority as production, quality, and service. We could have the safest plant in the organization. We could have the safest plant around. It could be the safest empty plant. One of the challenges we have is get away from the concept that you have to have a safe workplace. Your workplace is never going to be safe. Stop thinking it is. Your home is never going to be safe. Stop thinking it is. There's a hazard and risk involved in everything we do. So that's some of the mindset, Don, that we have to change. And we change that through developing a positive safety culture. What we mean by positive safety culture is when everyone in the organization starts taking ownership and responsibility first and foremost for their own safety, and then for the safety of others. That's going beyond compliance. From my experience, Don, it's been incredible to watch that happen in organizations.
So, John, why don't we talk? You touched on it briefly there. You mentioned about the PATS program, People Approach to Safety. So, why don't you explain a little bit more about that that program, or our approach to safety?
Yeah, also it's a program that we came up with many years ago, and basically PATS, PATS, stands for People Approach to Safety, Practical Approach to Safety, and Proactive Approach to Safety. Now, the People Approach to Safety is my whole theory is, I don't care what systems you have in place or how much you paid for them. If your people aren't taking ownership responsibility, it's not going to work. And conversely, if your people are taking ownership responsibility, I don't care what systems you have in place or how much you paid for them, it will work. It's not about the systems, it's about people. Just as an interesting comment, we talk about the West Ray mine. One of the interesting comments with respect to that is 1 month before that West Ray mine blew up and killed all those people, they received an award for the safest mine in Canada. What do you suppose that was based on? That was based on their documentation, their systems, and the procedure in place. That's not what keeps you safe. It's the mindset of the people in the organization that's going to do it. And that's what it's all about, people.
Right.
Yes, you have the systems in place, no question about that. Yes, they have to be in compliance. We're talking about moving beyond compliance to prevention. The practical aspect of the PATS is that we've made our systems far too complex. We have to have the systems in place, but we're talking about going beyond the systems to prevention, beyond compliance to prevention. The last one then is the proactive, and we talk a little bit about that. We don't wait for the accident to happen. One of the most important tools we have that I discovered many years ago, that was told to me, was the importance of the near misses. I don't think I've ever investigated an accident that was a one-off deal. The challenge is, again, it's the mindset of the people to say, don't wait for the accidents. Tell us what we can do to fix that before somebody gets hurt. It's a challenge. Now, I think we have to flip back a little bit, Don, to say, give your head a shake if you think you're going to eliminate all the accidents. What we want to do is eliminate the serious accidents, start with the potential fatalities, and work down the line. We're going to have the twisted ankles, the twisted knee, the occasional sprained back, and so on and so forth. But a lot of those we can prevent.
How do people, so managers, for instance, how do they, if they're not familiar with their situation with WCB, right, in terms of where they rank or how much they're even paying for it, how do they find that information? Where would they look for it?
The information is sent to them every month. Usually, in what happens in many cases, it's sent to the financial department, they file it away, and nobody knows anything about it. The other opportunity is you can go on at any time to my account, your organization, go into my account, and that information is there. And what I love about it, Don, it's in there right to the cent. If we have the opportunity, what I like to do is sit with the senior management group first and explain that detail. And in many cases, they have no idea and they don't think they can do anything about it.
All right. So any parting thoughts?
Well, the deal, Don, is in many cases, what we've seen happen over the last 50 years haven't made significant improvements, but we have to do something different. It's the culture of the organization is determined by the people who control the reward and recognition system. If the boss is buying in, then everybody will buy in. If the boss is not buying in, don't waste your time.
John, well, thank you for your time. And for everybody else out there, if you have any questions for us, our contact information will be in the description below, and we would encourage you to reach out to us to have a conversation with us. It doesn't cost you anything. Just give us a call. We're here to help. So thanks, John.
Thanks, Don. Take care.